What's up guys, EPICJONTUAZON here, and today we're going to be doing another video on the 2021 Jeep Wrangler Rubicon. Today's video is going to be sponsored by iArmor, so without further ado, let's go ahead and unbox this and see what we're going to be doing today. Okay, so today we have runners from iArmor, and we're going to be replacing the OEM runners on the 2021 Jeep Wrangler Rubicon. But before we go ahead and dismantle the old ones, let's go ahead and take a look what comes outside of the box. Okay, so right out of the box, you can see there's a bunch of parts that you're going to need to put together, and they're really labeled well. As you can see, some of these are DRM and then PRM. So I'm assuming P stands for passenger and D stands for driver side. So it's really easy to separate which is which. So right now I have them separated as the passenger on the bottom and the driver on the top. But it looks like we're gonna have to do some assembly to put the runners together before we start mounting them. So let's go ahead and put them together. It seems like they give you all the nuts and bolts that you'll need. So I'm gonna quickly put these together and I'll catch back up with you when they're assembled. So what we're going to do is we're going to replace this with this. Now to take off your OEM runner, there are two bolts that are mounted here and here to the body. Those are 13 millimeters. You're going to have to remove those. And then in between there is 10 millimeter bolts that hold the runners to the side of the Jeep. And I'll show you those in a second. Okay, so now we're underneath. So this is the runner. And now if you follow this bracket, right over here, that's that 13 millimeter bolt that's holding the bracket to the frame. And if you go a little farther up, there's the other 13 millimeter bolt that you have to take out. On top of that, if you have these specific runners, there's 10 millimeter bolts right here, here, and here. It looks like there's 3 of them that you have to remove in order to remove the OEM runner. All right, so this thing is heavy, and I misspoke before when I said there's only 3 bolts. There's actually 4. So you want to make sure you remove all 4 10 millimeter bolts before you go and yank it out. And then there's 2 13 millimeter bolts that hold it to the actual body of the Jeep. So for the brackets that we're going to install back on the car, this is a little bit confusing, so you're going to have to refer to the instructions, but I think I got it down. For the front, we're basically going to reuse every single mounting point that was on the OEM. So you're going to have to find the driver side front brackets, and essentially these 2 mounting points that are flat is where the new runners is going to sit. This is where the 13 millimeter bolt's going to go through, and then I'm assuming here and here is where the 10 millimeter bolts are going to run through. So what you have to do is take the big boy bolts, these are the biggest bolts in the packet, and the washers, and then put them together. So this will cinch in together, holding this in place. And then you have to get the rear one, which has 3 pieces, and do the exact same thing. So again, this is going to mount with the 13 millimeter bolt. This is going to counteract the 2 10 millimeter bolts, and this is where the runner is going to sit. And then they give you this other piece, which I'm assuming you're going to mount to here, which is going to be another support for the bracket. so before I go and install the runner, I wanted to give you a good idea of the brackets. So that you'll notice that the rear bracket is lower than the front bracket, and that's perfectly okay because it's going to sit on the actual step of the runner. So I want to show you guys a couple things to make it easier for your install. So on the rear, mainly focusing, there's this bracket that you have, this small little piece, and you want to leave that loose because you're going to want to thread this to the runner, and if it's too tight and rigid, you won't be able to fish the bolt through, and you'll see that when I go and install the runner. So you'll see this bolt up here that's connected to this bracket that we use the old mounting holes, and we put the two 10mm bolts through, running that, and that's connected to this J bracket that you're going to want to have tight. But everything before you go and install it into the Jeep, you want everything loose, and then as you start to snug everything up, it'll start to settle in. The front is not so much a big deal because it all fits pretty seamlessly. You put the two bolts in and then you screw the one bolt up to the chassis. But it's the rear one that's going to give you a little bit of trouble. So just take your time and you'll have a good outcome. When installing these, you're going to want to pre-mount your bolts just to make life easier for you. So these bolts, the ones that you're going to twist in, you're going to want to put those in the front. All right. And then the ones where you're going to have to slide in, you can slide it into the actual runner itself. So here you're going to slide one in through the back, and that's essentially going to mount to this hole. So that's what I said, you want it to be flexible so that you can slide it in and out. So once you have that there, you can easily slide it back, and then the bottom one you're going to slide in through the front and it's going to mount to here. But my suggestion is once you have the back mounted, take your washer and your nut and slide it over there, because once you start sliding stuff over and moving things away, these bolts tend to slide away from you. So as long as you have something that's mounted and secured, it shouldn't fall off. And you'll feel underneath, this is going to be the square bolt. There's a slot underneath where you can mount it, and then essentially just slide it onto the bracket. Then with the back two mounted, you can take the front and actually just push it up and then twist until they lock into place, and then just add your washer and nut. Then at this point, while everything is still loose, you're going to want to start snugging up each bolt a little bit by little. Just as it seats, you want everything to be even and in place where you want it to, because you don't want to tighten one bolt and then camp the other one. So you just go take your time, do each bolt little by little, and then once you get to the final part where it's starting to snug it up to the tightest point, then tighten it down and give it a nice crank. Okay, so there you have the iRunners installed. Let's go on a quick tour and see what we did. So underneath, let's take a look. And hopefully you guys can see the brackets. So again, this is the bolt you're going to want to keep loose so that this can camp back and forth when you mount your runner. Then here's the bolt to mount to the runner. Underneath there's a slot here you can slide back and forth, but pre-mounting the bolt into the hole definitely helps. And then up here at the front, get you in focus, the same thing, these two bolts, these are easy, pre-mount these, and then you can twist them and slide them into the slot. But the back two, you're going to want to pre-mount as they just slide right in. So there you have it, the installation of the iArmor runners on the 2021 Jeep Wrangler Rubicon is complete. Thank you so much to iArmor for sending out such a great product. I'm going to be so excited to try these out. They're a lot better than the old ones. And as you can see, like the level of where you have to step is not up here, it's down here. So it's more manageable and it's easier to step on instead of having to raise your legs so much higher. I also love how aggressive it looks. It definitely matches what we've already started with the LED lights. So if you haven't seen that video, I'll link it up here for you guys to check out. But stay tuned for more upgrades on the 2021 Jeep Wrangler Rubicon. And if you guys haven't already, please consider subscribing, hit that notification bell, and like this video as it does help the channel. If you have any questions about the runners, leave them in the comment section below. Other than that, I'll catch you guys on the next video. See ya.